Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the gaming industry is shut down. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the long-time negotiations that have been going on for over 2 years now with Sag-Aftra and a lot of the major video game companies out there, including people like Warner Brothers Games, Disney, Take-Two that makes Grand Theft Auto, and so many others out there are officially going to come to a work stoppage because guess what? The union and these companies have not come to an agreement in any way, shape, or form, and this could severely impact the future of the gaming industry as far as when a lot of these releases are going to come, delays, things that are already in work right now. I mean, we already know that video games can take absolute years, sometimes up to a decade, to absolutely develop, and any kind of issue, any kind of hiccup that comes up can push that back even farther. So, ladies and gentlemen, you better hope if your favorite game is still currently in development that all of the voice lines have been recorded for it already, because it looks like that stuff ain't going to stop, ain't going to continue any time soon, because this has just come out, ladies and gentlemen, while we were live on our morning live stream that we do at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every single day. As you can see from the headline here from Deadline, Sag-Aftra calls strike against major video game companies after nearly 2 years of contract talks. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is insane. This is crazy, and this is going to cause a lot of crazy ripples all throughout the video game industry and all the way through the entire pop culture sphere, truth be told. So this is going to be crazy. This is going to be insane. So we're going to check out this article from Deadline, getting all the juicy details, see what the complaints are from the union, and of course what the video game companies are saying in response to that as well. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe and or follow if you have not already, because we have just crossed 900 over there on YouTube. We're sailing our way towards 1,000, and we are sailing our way towards 900 over there on Rumble, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, let us know in the comment section down below, is there a video game of yours that you're excitedly waiting for and you're worried this may affect the development and or the release date for it? Let us know what that kind of stuff is down below. So, Sag-Aftra is going on strike again. This time, the union is calling for a work stoppage against the major video game companies after nearly 2 years of trying to renegotiate its interactive media agreement. The decision to hit the picket lines comes 10 months after the union's initial strike authorization vote. The strike goes into effect July 26th at 12:01 a.m. So depending on when you're watching this video, the strike is either already into effect or will be going into effect very, very shortly, boys and girls. And it also depends on when this video gets released as well. But it's one of them situations where that's the big thing, right? The strike authorization vote is something that a union always wants to do before they go into negotiations. They want to make sure that they have that authorization, that yes, the members of the union feel confident enough in their negotiation team that if they feel like there's something that they don't like, they can actually end up calling for a strike. They have that authorization. They have that power. Their negotiating committee has that power, and now they've reached a point where they feel like it's not there. Now, obviously, the members can obviously go out to the negotiating committee and go, hey, listen here, knucklehead, we don't agree with this, yada, yada, yada. This is close enough. This contract's good enough for us. Let's go ahead and do this. And then, of course, they'd go back to the table, finish everything up, and go at it. As of right now, it looks like that is not happening. So it looks like the gaming industry is officially shut down as of Friday, July 26th, boys and girls. So the 10 companies facing strike are Activision Productions. Boy, how about that one for anybody? Is there any major game studio titles out there that Activision is responsible for, boys and girls? Blindlight LLC, Disney Character Voices Incorporated, Electronic Arts Production, EA, anybody there as well? What all kinds of stuff do they do? Epic Games, Fortnite, anybody? Formosa Interactive, that sounds like one of the guns that do the racing games. I don't know. Insomniac Games, Take-Two Productions, yes, the Grand Theft Auto folks, and VoiceWorks Productions Inc, and of course, Warner Brothers Games Incorporated, responsible for, of course, the wonderful, lovely, and oh so successful Suicide Squad Kills the Justice Leagues. Oh yeah, well, I guess at least that's some good news out of this, boys and girls. We won't have to worry about any more abominations like that coming out of Warner Brothers games. So at least take a little heart there. So they go on. So the union, this is the union's response out there. We're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough. When these companies get serious about offering an agreement our members can live and work with, we will be here ready to negotiate, SAG-Aftra President Fran Drescher said in a statement. Obviously, this has been a big issue with the AI stuff, right? Name, like, and image has been a huge thing out there right now, and name, image, and likeness. And it's one of those situations where we're seeing this, we're hearing reports out of this, out of actors and actresses out of Hollywood, and obviously it'll eventually come up with the video game industry, where they're going in for full body scans. They're taking a full body scan of you, they're recording your voice, they're having you say certain lines. Also, they can pump you into an AI generation machine and produce you and make you say, talk and do whatever you want and dance like whatever little dancing clown they want, all without having to pay you for any of that kind of stuff. And that's one of the big issues. They're basically trying to replace extras, or in some cases replace entire characters. And any of you out there who don't know the kind of amazing and crazy things that AI can do with your voice and just a few samples of it, definitely go check out my friend Mr. Grant Gregory AI out there. He has done some wild things, and honestly a couple of creepy things when he's nabbed our own voices and done things for it, but it's fascinating, it's crazy, it's cool, and it just shows you how far the technology has advanced just for one of us knuckleheads in the fellowship to be able to play with this stuff, let alone the kind of technological advancements and software that these major studios have access to. I'm sure they make all of us look like we're doing nothing more than children's play when it comes to AI compared to what these guys out there can do. So last week, the SAG-Aftra National Board voted to put the power to call the strike in the hands of the National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree. A notable move and an early indicator that the union was preparing to finally make good on their prepared threats to walk away from the table. In a statement of his own, Crabtree said, "The video game industry generates billions of dollars in profit annually. Absolute fact. They are a bigger industry and certainly more profitable than the movie industry. The driving force behind that success is the creative people who design and create those games. That includes the SAG-Aftra members who bring memorable and beloved game characters to life, and they deserve and demand the same fundamental protections as performers in film, television, streaming, and music. Fair compensation and the right of informed consent for the AI use of their faces, voices, and bodies." And I mean, really? That's informed consent? Like, I just want to know that you're going to digitally scan me and use my stuff for whatever you want to later? Like, I'd like to know that you're going to do that so that way I can say no if you're going to try to do that. Like, I don't think that's too unreasonable because of course, the studios don't want that because they know it's cheaper for them to digitally scan you and just keep using your voice indefinitely. In this case, a video game character. I mean, think of iconic voice characters, iconic characters you've known out there. Imagine them never having to pay the Mario voice character ever again. They record his voice once and they use it indefinitely. Like, that's a problem. That's an issue with that. I mean, and then what happens after they're dead? You're essentially a necromancer at that point. Oh, yeah, that guy's been dead for 10 years. He's still been voicing the character for the last 6 games. What? Oh, yeah, by the way, we're not compensating his family for anything either. We're just using it. It's whatever. Nah, not cool. Frankly, it's stunning that these video game studios haven't learned anything from the lessons of last year. That our members can and will stand up and demand fair and equal treatment with respect to AI, and the public supports us in that. And honestly, yeah, that's true. Even a guy from me that mostly criticizes Hollywood and a lot of the times the video game industry as well, yeah, I completely and totally agree with him. That is not an unreasonable request in any way, shape, or form. It's been nearly 2 years since the interactive media agreement was extended beyond its original expiration date to accommodate more talks between the union and the video game companies. Bargaining has continued on and off for that length of time. The union said Saturday that while negotiations were ongoing, the parties remained far apart on artificial intelligence provisions. AI has been the sticking point on this contract for months, and a strike has been expected since Crabtree Ireland spoke about the issue during a panel at South by Southwest in March. A spokesperson for the video game producers weighed in on the strike news saying, "We're disappointed the union has chosen to walk away when we are so close to a deal, and we remain prepared to resume negotiations. We have already found common ground on 24 out of our 25 proposals, including historic wage increases and additional safety provisions. Our effort is to directly responsive to SAG-Aftra's concerns and extend meaningful AI protections that include requiring consent and fair compensation to all performers working under the IMA. These terms are among the strongest in the entertainment industry." Do I believe them? No. Do I really believe Crabtree Ireland all that much? No, not really. I don't trust most union heads more than I trust most Hollywood studio heads when it really comes down to it. And this is a guy that was a chief steward in a union at one point. You know, so it's one of them situations where this is going to be a lot of bickering. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. But either way, these two have to come together in agreement. Otherwise, the video game industry doesn't move forward, boys and girls. No voices. It's going to be kind of weird. I mean, we can have a lot of Zelda games, but even then, it's only Link that's not talking. You know what I mean? Everybody else is pretty vocal about things. So I don't know. In September, members authorized the strike authorization on its current contract. The vote was 98.3.2% in favor. That's always a good sign. You don't want a weak vote on that. Total of 34,000 members voted, representing 27% of the eligible voters. There we go. The last strike against the gaming companies in 2016 lasted 183 days. Wow. I guess the voice acting stuff doesn't take that long to the development of a video game. The news of another actor strike comes just 1 year after SAG-AFTRA, yada, yada, yada. So while there's some pushback from the members of the AI provisions in the contract, it was ratified with 78% of approval in October. That was that one. This call to labor action from the Actors Guild comes as IATSE has ratified their new contracts with the studios, but as Hollywood Teamsters are still locked into bargaining with the AMTPT for a new 3-year contract. Local 399 have extended talks twice now past the original deadline, yada, 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 yada. That's not important for the gaming industry, right? This is the important part, right? This is one of them situations. Can they press forward with a lot of other aspects of their games? Absolutely, of course, right? Voice acting is probably not the most integral part by a long shot of any of the games. Is it important? Yes. Would a game be incomplete without it? So yes, boys and girls, for as long as this strike goes on, if you've got any of your games that are at the point where all they need left is voice acting, or that's something they're going to have to hold on, either way, this is going to delay your game. It's going to screw up their schedule. It's going to mess with things. So once again, AI and all these new technologies emerging, things that we should have dealt with 5 or 10 years ago, are now emerging their gruely heads out there, and they're affecting the video game industry. And boys and girls, somebody better get on the ball, because otherwise all of these major studios out there will collapse, just like so many others, so many of the smaller studios out there have done, and you're not going to be able to have anybody work for you. I mean, yeah, call in contract labor from overseas, see how well that goes over for you, see if that doesn't violate your own agreements out there, and end up getting your ass sued in court. Boys and girls, needless to say, whether or not you agree with the strike, whether or not you agree with the AI, whether or not you agree with the voice actors who this union absolutely represents out there, one way or another, this is affecting your video game industry, and it's good news to keep aware of, because these delays could cause massive consequences and major ripples throughout the entire video game industry. So boys and girls, buckle up, hold on to your buckets, because this could be a very interesting ride.